Yeah, 9/11 is a date in the U.S. history that most will forget. And so for all those lives who are lost and all in the armed forces, thank you for protecting the United States. And with that being done, well, yeah, welcome back to the Tracklicious Twitch channel here. Now we are live doing another stream. If you missed earlier, we are doing the season opener race at Nurburgring. This is the Porsche Cup series. We will be following the calendar of the GT3 series. Your event format tonight will be a 15-minute race, followed by a 45-minute race. In between, there will be a qualifying session and practice session. So yeah, or two qualifying sessions, excuse me. We'll go into a qualifying for race 1, and a short, and then race 1, and then a short practice session just to get drivers warmed up and to give the commentary booth a time to interview people. And then from there will be another qualifying session and a 45-minute race. Is it still doubled? What has happened? Oh no. Headphones. There we go. I am so sorry. I have no clue why that was happening. There we go. That should be better now. So yeah, now that I'm not doubled up, welcome back to the Tracklicious account. We'll be doing a 15-minute race and a 45-minute race here around the Porsche Cup, or in the Porsche Cup around Nurburgring. We will be following the GT3 calendar. The 45-minute race will have a required pit stop. We will be using the same rule set as our GT3 series here. Nurburgring GP is a 15-turn, 3.2-mile circuit situated in the town of Nuremberg, Germany. This circuit here is home to many races, including some Formula 1 races and the iconic 24 Hours of Nurburgring, which uses the iconic Nordschleife layout in addition to the GP layout. So yeah, here we go. Now we are following Richie Geralman on his outlap for this 10-minute qualifying session for the 15-minute race upcoming. Keeps it nice and clean here through first couple sectors, obviously just trying to get his tires warmed up, brakes warmed up. And one thing drivers may struggle with here tonight at Nürburgring is the Porsche Cup has no traction control. Most of these drivers rely on traction control in the GT3 and GT4 series. So this will be an interesting adaptation for them as they try to get used to actually being very nice and easy on the throttle pedal, unlike the GT3s and GT4s, which you can, in some cars, just mash and go and not have to worry about having the car over-rotate. So this will be a hard challenge for some drivers, but some drivers may also be really used to no traction control, so this will be a fun little challenge for some drivers here. So we'll see how these drivers adapt to this track conditions. It's a 25-degree track temperature of 25 degrees Celsius track. Track is fast, which means there's some grip to be found here as drivers rubber in the track here. 8 minutes of qualifying left as we are following your first person come out onto a hot lap, Richie Geralman. I believe here you want to take a wide turn 1 to avoid having any kind of roller coaster on your car, which could possibly upset you. Mercedes Arena, which he is running through here now, is a very hard section in any car. You want to take it over both of these curbs here and then swing it wide out onto exit of the Mercedes Arena. And then down, go off all the way to the right-hand side of the road, brake right as the service road ends there. Swing it out wide, and then coming back across this corner here. Looking to get the power down early on the run down to the hairpin. It looks like Richie Geralman has done exactly that. This looks like a really nice clean lap from Richie here so far. Now you're into the hairpin. We may see a varying driving lines there, as some drivers might opt to take the ideal line, which is basically just a straight curve around the corner. Some drivers might V it off, so miss the center of the apex, but clip the two invisible ones on the entrance and the exit of the apex, which would get you a better run up into the Schumacher S's, and some might ride into the quote-unquote first apex and then cut across back to get a faster hard line like you would if you're V'ing off the corner. Now we go through we're past the Michael Schumacher S's already, now up into the chicane here. And then at this point you would turn off for the Nordschleife loop. But since we are not doing the Nordschleife loop here tonight, you take around the final corner of the GP and come across the start-finish line. And your pole time here, provisionally, is a 2-minute flat .4. Let's see who will be able to improve that time any. As drivers are coming across the line now, and it looks like Josh Willis comes across the line to take your provisional pole time of a 1:59.97. That is a good time, about 4 tenths clear of Richie Geralman here. Now we're following Josh Willis, as he's already up on his personal best, or as he's already up on the session best by about 3 tenths. So is Richie Geralman. Richie Geralman just gained a bunch of time, and it looks like sector 2. We'll still follow Josh Willis here, and I will hop on board with another driver here soon on the interior cam to see how challenging this track is. It's a very fun and twisting track, but you know, it is hard to get right, especially in these Porsche Cups. This is the Mercedes S, excuse me, the Schumacher S is here into, I believe this corner has a name. Through the final corner, actually that's not the final corner, on the run up to the chicane. It looks like that would have been, okay, there we go. Figure out the corner name. And Josh Willis goes faster with a 1:59.397, and is now clear of Lindauer by nearly a whole second. And Lindauer's time's quite respectable there with a 2-minute .3. With only about 0.06 of a second splitting second and third from a part of each other. Now we're following Stefan Lindauer here, having to avoid, I believe that is Orozco, as Lindauer pulls off to reset back to the pits here. He should have enough time with 3 minutes left of the qualifying session to get another time down here. So now we're following on board actually with Jason Provolone here. Provolone has taken second place away from Lindauer, and actually Ray Frias has also taken that third place away from Lindauer. So now your qualifying order here tonight is Josh Willis, Jason Provolone, and Ray Frias here. Provolone doing a great job in the GT4 race on Thursday, so that will be good to see how he adapt to this Porsche Cup here. The Aston Martin V8 Vantage GT4 does drive a lot differently than these Porsche Cups. Porsche Cups don't have a lot of downforce, but they do have a lot of straight line speed. So that will be something to see how they deal with here tonight. And now we are heading up into the Schumacher S's here. And now we're out of the Schumacher S's into RTL curve. This is a fast 90-degree left. It's very fun. You can use some of that green runoff space in most cars, but I'm not sure how the Porsche Cups like it. And then here's the bit curve. Again, you can use some of those green curving off to the side, but I'm not sure how these Porsche Cups like it. And now we head through Boggin. That's also another fun curve there. And now into the final chicane here. You can see the turn off left there for the Nordschleife loop. That would be amazing to drive one of these Porsche Cups around the Nordschleife loop. Jason Provolone does go faster. Second place with a 159.6 puts him 0.4 off of Josh Willis there. Richie Drallman has taken his third place back with a 159.664. And now we will follow... We'll follow Matt Morrison in his Hero-sponsored Porsche. Some good liveries here tonight. Great to see all these liveries here. Does look like Josh Willis has decreased his time to a 159.181. That's still a really quick time here around Nurburgring. Looks like the following qualifying is now ended, so the drivers will be able to complete their lap, and that is their qualifying done. Crow Heavenborn, Mike Birkoff, Richie Drallman, Josh Willis, and Matt Morrison will not be able to set another time here as Matt Morrison pulls off to let more drivers through. We'll hop on board follow Ray Prius here in the Monster Energy Porsche. Swinging it wide through that 90-degree turn. As that camera decides to lose Ray Frias temporarily. And now we are heading up on the run to the final chicane here. Drivers opting to not use that first part of the chicane there. I'm curious if that upsets the cars a little bit too much. Your action points on this track here will be turn 1, exit the Mercedes Arena, the hairpin, and the final chicane. And will Ray Frias improve? No, he will not. Ray Frias will only be able to secure 4th place. Your final car on track are Cody Wassum and Cornotis. Cornotis will not improve as he resets back to the pits. Your final driver on track here is Cody Wassum. Will he be able to put his car in the podium position at the top 3? Coming around the final corner, keeping it nice and clean, waiting to get the power down so it doesn't spin his rear tires up too much. Will he improve his time? He will. He gets it over Mike Birkoff and is only a 1/10 of a second off of Matt Morrison here tonight. Your qualifying order will be Josh Willis, Provolone, and Richie Drallman in your top 3. 4th place will be Ray Frias. 5th place, Stefan Lindauer. 6th place is Matt Morrison. 7th place is Cody Wassum. 8th place is Mike Birkoff. 9th is Crow Heavenborn. 10th is Eric. 11th is Jerick Snyder. 12th place is Roscoe. 13th place is Chronotis. And 14th place is Jerry Shirk. And let's see if we can get an interview here to our pole position here of Joshua Willis. Let's see if we can get Josh here into the interview box to congratulate him on his pole position. I do know he is typically unavailable to do interviews as his setup does not allow him to do it easily. But now we are on grid here. Drivers getting their final podium position, or final setups, excuse me. Final setups confirmed. Tire pressure set for the 32-degree track. And it looks like Josh will opt to do the interview after the race here tonight, which is perfectly understandable as he will need this time to set his car up. Now, I'm guessing these cars will not need too much fuel here, maybe only about 35 liters for a 15-minute race here around Nurburgring. I do know these cars have a high top speed, which should mean they are quite fuel hungry, but I will not know until we see this. Track is 32 degrees Celsius. The track is fast, which means there's still some grip left to be made on track during this race session here tonight. And now let's highlight the front of the field. With Josh Willis holding your whole time. We have about 40 seconds left of before we start our warm-up lap for drivers get their tires and brakes up to temp here. Should be a crucial thing. 15-minute race coming up ahead. A lot of drivers will want a good start here, but also to not make a lot of mistakes because there's not a lot of time to recover from their mistakes. So we'll see how drivers opt to how hard they want to be aggressive on the sprint race here. And now our session is about to get underway with our outlap here. And now as we see Josh Willis start to make his tires warm. A couple drivers in the background warming up their tires by swerving under brakes. Josh Willis not looking to do much to get his brakes and tires up to temp, but I know he will be doing that. It looks like we already have some racing happening behind between Richie Geralman and Ray Frias on the outlap. Great to see that. Hopefully they will produce a good amount of racing here tonight. Now the tires are starting to be warmed up as a lot of the pack is starting to swerve across this whole racetrack to get those tires and brakes up to temperature here. Now we're about a third of the way through the lap already, so drivers will want to be getting these tires up to temp here as quickly as possible. And we will be curious to see who gets the jump off of these start-finish straight here. Josh Willis should have a good jump, but will Ray Frias be able to jump Richie Geralman down into turn 1? I mean, only time will tell here. 15-minute race. Again, like I said, not many drivers are wanting to make a lot of mistakes here. Just keep it nice and clean to get the points down into the bag. There is no teams championship here in this Porsche Cup, so it is every driver for himself. No team orders being made here tonight in this Porsche Cup. And now drivers are wanting to get their brakes up to temp here. So now we're on the run up to the final chicane, I believe, here. Yes, we are into the braking zone of the final chicane. No, it's not. That's the 90-degree left. Okay, we got a little bit more left to go. We're now about 2/3 way through this formation lap here tonight. Track is slowly warming up, but we're already up to a 33-degree track. This, curious if track temps will vary and these tires starting to overheat themselves or underheat themselves depending on how you prepared the setup. You can see Josh Willis struggling to keep control of his car as he tries to get the tires up to temp there. That may be a theme here tonight with no traction control. Drivers struggling to get on the power. Didn't see many issues in qualifying, but will we see any issues here tonight? As we just hop on following Jason Provolone to get a nice view of both your race, your pole position, and second row here. Your odd numbers will take the inside line, the even numbers on the outside, which means Willis will have a better entry to defend from Provolone down into turn 1. Who will get a better jump as we go green here at Nurburgring? And now we are green in Nurburgring. It looks like Jason Provolone has a good start and does have a good start. He's now ahead of Willis just a little bit down into turn 1. All drivers in the back keeping it nice and clean here. No one making it through wide. Provolone giving Willis plenty of space. Willis having a better drive out of turn 1 and gives Josh Willis the lead of the race here. So it looks like Richie Geralman had a better jump on Ray Frias, as it looks like in the background Matt Morrison and Crow Heavenborn are battling for position back there. Looks like that might be a 5th place or so. A lot of drivers in the distance going off track, and now we'll follow your race leader of Ray Frias, and of Joshua Willis, and it looks like a car might have gone around in the background. I don't see anything in the timing sheet to justify that, as it looks like we're starting to space out, and there is a big gap behind Geralman, which would be Matt Morrison. And yes, it looks like Ray Frias might have spun, because Ray Frias was holding 4th place over Matt Morrison, but Matt Morrison now has 4th place, and it looks like Frias is down onto 14th. That's unfortunate to see, but now we watch the leading 2 pair go at it here. About a half-second gap to take the race lead from Willis. So it looks like the gap's actually starting to extend a little bit. Both drivers being nice and sensible here into the chicane. Provolone using a little bit more curbing than Josh Willis. Curious how that will play out for these 2 drivers, but the gap is held consistent the whole second sector. And there's a yellow flag out on track somewhere. I'm wondering if possibly Lindauer is off. Thank you, Haas, for following. And the varying lines down into turn 1 are slightly interesting. Josh Willis opting to take more of the inside, while Provolone's running a little wide, taking a technically not racing line there, but the complete inside line has a big downhill drop. So I'm curious why those two drivers are doing those different lines. We'll head back down the field for the battle between Cody Wassum and Jerick Snyder here. Cody Wassum looking to get up into 5th place here with 12 minutes. I have 12 minutes left of the race here, 3 minutes in. Joshua still holds your race lead. It looks like a Roscoe may be looking to make a move on Kronotis out of the chicane. Not close enough to do anything, but the battle behind is starting to heat up, as it looks like that is Eric looking to make a move on Orozco as they collide, possibly down into the chicane. Both Orozco and Eric are off. Eric sending himself around, just getting the tires heated up a little bit too much and spun it around. Orozco's now having to defend from... Cannot tell who that is. Is that possibly Jerick? Cannot tell that driver number. It does look to be in... Yes, that is Jerick there. Jerick is about 2/10 off. He looked up to the inside, not close enough to go too wide up the hill, but now down into the hard chicane. It looks like Orozco knocks a braking marker out. That is going to cause a lot of drivers to have some possible mistakes here. But this battle not really doing much here. I mean, the gap is only 0.2 of a second. Will Jerick be able to make a move down into turn 1? Does not look like he's close enough, but Ray Frias might be looking to get a better jump out of the corner, as it looks like Orozco sends it a little wide and gives Jerick the chance to run around the outside, and does down into Mercedes Arena. Will Ray Frias be able to make any gain off of Orozco's poor exit of turn 1? Does not look like he's yet to do it here. Ray Frias takes a tad bit too much of the inside curving. And the gaps are now starting to space out here. Josh Willis has a 1-second lead over Provolone. And then there's 2 seconds back, Richie Geralman from Provolone. We'll head up the field to watch the battle between Cody Wassum and Jerick Snyder. These drivers looking a little bit spaced out here, but possibly close enough to do something, or start closing and maybe look to move down the front stretch here. So it looks like Wassum uses a little bit more road there. Both Snyder and Wassum, great drivers here. Wassum was driving the Team Supreme Bentley in the GT3, and I believe Snyder was in a Porsche, if I recall correctly. Both drivers having good runs in last season's Summer GT3 series. And Cody Wassum closed that gap up a lot down in the chicane, possibly looking to make a move down into turn 1 here. We'll hop on board to see if he tries to send it down the inside or around the outside here. Entering Mercedes Arena, Wassum braking a little bit early, letting Snyder run it wide, which gives Cody Wassum the ideal line as they two collide. How does that affect both drivers? Both affect Snyder a little bit worse here, as now Birkoff is looking to overtake Snyder down into turn 3 here. Both drivers keeping it wheel to wheel. Really nice and clean racing between this group here. There we go, and it looks like Mike Birkoff does send it around the outside of turn 3 there. That is a nice overtaking maneuver from Mike. There we go. But will we be able to... Hang on, now I'm confused. Who is this? Yeah, that's the number 85 of Jerick Snyder. For some reason, typing board was wanting to say that was Jerick. But will Jerick Snyder be able to do anything out of the Schumacher S's? If you do go off there or have a... As you hear, we're halfway through the race now. This has been an exciting season opener race, the first sprint race. But does not look like Snyder is able to close the gap at all through the Schumacher S's. And starts falling off the back of Birkoff just a little bit. But will Birkoff be able to close up to Wassum at all here? And it does look like he's closes up into the chicane, taking a little bit of a little bit too much of the second chicane apex there. Falls off of the back of Wassum. But Snyder must have done the same, because Snyder did not close either. But now Birkoff's regained the time out of turn 1. Down to 3/10 of a gap, excuse me. Looks like Wassum runs a tad bit wide there, Birkoff having the better exit. These two drivers being excellent drivers to race against. I've raced against them in many public lobbies, and some of them in the GT4 series. And if you're at all interested to join us here at Tracklicious, in our Twitch account, we should have some links to join us there. Join our Discord. We will be gladly help you sign up for this series. We also do run a GT3 series tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and a Thursday night GT4 series. But now, Birkoff, 4/10 off of Cody Wassum, down into the hairpin. Really big hairpin here, not close enough to do anything. Has a slides out of the hairpin though, which might give Wassum a better chance to run. Gap is still 0.3 of a second here. Excellent battle between these two. Ooh, that's Cody Wassum, slides it around. Will Mike Birkoff be able to get that position? Wassum defending the inside line, Mike Birkoff having the better exit of... yeah, Mike Birkoff has a better exit there. And it does look like that is Mike's 5th position tonight. Great little overtake there between those two as Mike Birkoff makes a excellent maneuver and to capitalize off of Wassum's mistake there. We'll still follow this battle as it's a really good battle and the closest on track here. Provolone falling 2.5 seconds off of Willis. Geralaman slightly closed the gap to Provolone down to 1.3 seconds. It does not look like any other overtakes have been made. Eric slotting down into 11th place after his mistake with Orozco. And it looks like a driver may have disconnected from the server. That would have been... yeah, I'm not sure who that would have been. Maybe Ray Frias? Yeah, that would have been Ray Frias. Ray Frias having some bad luck the first race here. The track temperature raising up to 35 degrees Celsius. But the track grip level not improving at all. Birkoff slowly pulling away from Wassum here. Now is nearly a second clear. Now we'll hop on up to Richie Geralaman as it looks like Richie's starting to close to Provolone quite quickly here. As you can see, Provolone up into the distance. Looks like he's about 2 seconds off of Provolone. Provolone falling down the order, or losing some time to Willis. Now down to just shy of 3 seconds. Geralaman using a lot of the inside curbing there. Gains him some time over Provolone, actually. So it looks like Snyder may be looking to make a move up onto Wassum. Wassum's fallen 4 seconds off the back of Birkoff, which means we missed a mistake from Wassum here, but now Jerick Snyder looking to capitalize off a mistake, possibly through the Schumacher S's. Gap's now down to 0.3 of a second. Will Snyder be able to be close enough to make any considerable move down into the Mercedes-Benz Arena complex of turn 1 here? Snyder taking the outside line, cutting across the inside line. Wassum taking it a little bit wide, giving a smoother acceleration out of the corner, but I think allowed Jerick to close a little bit. Now Jerick using some of that green AstroTurf runoff. It is allowed, but that may lose him some time and consistency if he opts to continue using that section, but now you can use the runoff on the left section. You don't really want to use too much of this inside curving here as it will spit you out, as it looks like Jerick Snyder is struggling to keep this car in a straight line around these turns here. But does good to recover here. Now 0.6 off down into this hairpin here. Jerick Snyder, both drivers actually opting to V off this corner, giving him a better exit of the chicane. Snyder falling to 0.7 off of Wassum, as it looks like Jerick Snyder having a slight mistake through the Schumacher S's puts it in both gravel traps. And that's unfortunate to see there. Now we head up to Mike Birkoff closing onto Matt Morrison. Matt Morrison falling big off the back of Richie Geralman and allowing Birkoff to be close enough to make a move. We're now 1 minute left of the race here. As we hear now, this is going to be the final lap here. It looks Josh Willis is still holding a 4-second lead over Provolone here, but now the battle for 4th place is still kicking off between these two. Mike Birkoff looking to force kind of a mistake into Morrison, possibly through the Mercedes-Benz Arena. He's 2/10 off of Morrison here. It looks like Morrison takes a lot more of the apex, but runs it a little wide, but Mike Birkoff struggling to get the power down without breaking traction there. Both drivers having a nice, really good battle here between these two. Matt Morrison not showing up a lot here, but is a really good driver. Mike Birkoff looking to have a better run out of the Mercedes Arena. Will Mike Birkoff looks to make a move down into turn 4, not close enough to do anything about it here. Now on the run down to this big old hairpin. Into Dunlop. Will he be able to close the gap at all? Looks like the gap's still holding consistent at 0.3 of a second here. But Mike Birkoff holding a little bit more of that inside curbing there, which gains him a lot of time on Morrison here. Looking to do it around the outside of RTL. But which gives him the inside line into Bit. Is not close enough to make a move. And it looks like nudges Matt Morrison off the road a little bit. I'm not sure if that is a mistake from Morrison getting the power down on too early, or Mike having some contact there. But your race winner here tonight has been Josh Willis. He has held pole position and swept the race away from Provolone, who is in 2nd place, and your 3rd place is Richie Geralman closing off the podium position. As you see Josh Willis and Richie Geralman celebrating their 1st and 3rd place respectively, and it looks like your 4th place finisher has been Mike Birkoff. 5th place is Matt Morrison. Now we come across the line. 6th place is Jerick Snyder. Now we follow the battle for 7th place here between Jerick and Wassum. Wassum defending his 7th place from Jerick. Jerick gets 8th place. Now Orozco coming across the line for a 9th place finish. And now we see Crow Heavenboard coming across the line for 10th with a slightly damaged front nose there. Must have been involved with a collision with someone that we missed off camera. And now we follow Eric coming around the hairpin. Excuse me, not the hairpin, the final chicane. Standing around the final corner there. Secures 11th place. Stepp and Linda are securing 12th place, with Granotis coming across the final corner there to secure his 13th place, his final. And that is your final driver on track. And it does look like Ray Farias was, unfortunately, quit the race due to some kind of mechanical issue. And now we try and pull in Josh for the race win. Let's see if we... And now let's see if we can get your race winner and pole position into the interview box. He said he would be interested in doing it after the race. The race is finished. And now we join us with your race winner and your pole position, Josh Willis.
How you doing, Trev?
Good. Excellent race from you there. Secured it, held the race lead the whole time over Provolone there.
Yeah, it was a fun race. I just needed to get out in front and stay in front. I guess I should say. And yeah, just manage the car. Just make sure I don't get the back end to spin, and then I'd be okay. So it was fun. It was a challenge, like any time the cup car driving is, but it was fun.
Yes, and struggling with the lack of traction control here tonight at Nurburgring?
I wouldn't say struggling. I mean, just got to manage it, maintain the temperature of the tires. If you spin it a little too much, you got to make sure you cool it down before you try to lean on them again. But luckily, I didn't have any issues with the race. I just managed my right foot and got around the track.
Yeah, and looking for anything out of the next qualifying and race sessions here tonight?
Well, with the pit, this is gonna for the next race. It's gonna spice it up a little bit. So hopefully, I can just nail my entry. We get out here and practice the pit entry in a second, and then hopefully that doesn't mess me up. And again, just try to use my pace to hold the lead.
And
See
how was
what
it
happens.
to defend from provolone there?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, he didn't get too close, so I try not to pay attention to him and just focused on my lines. And he was within a second for the first few laps, so I just made sure covered off any moves that he could try to make, any dives he could do, and yeah, keep the lead.
Awesome, and looking forward to see you here in this next race.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks, Trev.
And now let's see if we can pull in provolone for his second place interview. Let's see if he's interested in doing it. Might have to ping someone else.
Hello.
Hello, provolone. And yeah, second place there. Secured your second place in qualifying and just had to keep it on road to secure your second place in the race.
Yeah, it was a fun race. Still trying to get used to the car with no traction control and just trying to keep the rear end from flying away. But yeah, it was good. I was getting kind of worried about Richie there towards the end. He was starting to get up within 2 seconds, a second and a half of me, but I didn't really get close enough to do anything. But yeah, overall it was fun. I'm looking forward to the 45-minute race.
And yeah, that was a great race from you too. Yeah, any expectations for qualifying here, or just happy with what you get?
Yeah, I'm happy with what I get. I mean, I'm gonna be trying to get at least P2 again. Gonna see if I can find those extra 4.5 tenths to get closer to Josh, but he's really fast here in this car right now. So yeah, it's just gonna be trying to put a full lap together without any mistakes.
And yeah, if you have nothing else to add, you're free to get ready for qualifying here tonight.
All right, sweet. Thank you, man.
And there is your interview for second place. I don't know if I want to pull in third place. Let's see if he is in the lobby. Your third place finisher would be... Third place finisher is Richie Drummond. Let's see if we can pull him in. If he is interested. We have some time to kill us, so let's see if we can pull in your third place finisher of Richie Drummond. Having some work there, has had some work there to cut off to get his final, secure the final podium position, but did it successfully over. He would have gotten over. Just looking for the name, Birkoff. And now we are following Lindauer here. Let's hop on board maybe a driver's eye perspective here to see how it looks to these two guys. And it looks like Richie Drallman is unavailable to an interview, which is 100% fine here. Interviews here do not have to be made, but obviously would be excellent for the stream, as it looks like Stefan Lindauer is struggling a lot through that Dunlop curve there. It's a really hard corner, Dunlop corner. Let's see how he does. Now this is the RTL curve here. It's a very hard corner in most cars, and I could see how it'd be even harder in this Porsche Cup car. But looking to keep it clean out of that section there. Looks like Lindauer may be on track for a 2:01, possibly. 2 minute 1 second. Let's see what he does. Bouncing it over the chicane there, but that is how you do it in most cars. Track temperature increasing up to 36 degrees Celsius. This is definitely a hot track, and it looks like, ooh, excuse me, Lindauer's sets the fastest time of practice here with a 1:59.8, looking to possibly get another good result out of qualifying. I do enjoy hopping onto those driver eye perspectives just to see what they see sometimes. Does not, you know, it's really interesting on Hot Lap to see how they take this track and struggle with the acceleration of this Porsche Cup. Keeping it nice and clean through, that would be Ford. Actually, that would have been Ford. It was Valvoline that we were just watching. Nice little run down to the Dunlop hairpin here. Nice little partly cloudy day here at Nurburgring, so track is, you know, there is probably room for this track to warm up, but I don't expect it to warm any much more. Now, the track is now optimum, so that means some faster times will be set in this qualifying session than we were in the previous one, as the track has more grip here. And it looks like Lindauer's a front trunk, I believe, is slightly open. That's a little interesting. Either graphical bug there, or looks like someone forgot to clip it shut before we went out here. And your fastest time in the session has been set by Mike Birkoff with a 1:59.8, but pulls off to abort his lap. Now we're following Jerick here up the hill into, I'm not fully sure what section of the track this is here. Yeah, this is the final chicane. There is, yeah, that's definitely a hard little chicane there. Cannot tell you how many times I have spun it into a gravel trap there in any car I drive, whether it be a GT3, GT4, touring car, or a skip barber. It's really hard to get that corner correct, but still do it quick. Now taking it quite tight into turn 1, so that's definitely interesting to see there. Orozco saying good race. Yes, that was. Unfortunately having some mistakes there for you, but glad to see you on track here tonight, and hope you have a good race here in qualifying session. Now Jerick looking to set a good time in this practice session, looking maybe for, looks like he's actually slightly invalid right now. It's unfortunate to see. Let's see what Josh Willis can do. He's coming on the run up to that would have been RTL, and then it threw a bit here now. Looks like he might have had a spin if he's already into the 2:07, or maybe this is his out lap. I'm not fully sure quite yet. Lindauer actually holds the fastest Sector 1 time here. of this session. And holds fastest second sector. And it looks like Josh Willis enters the pits here. Now we follow Jerick Snyder here in number 85. It's kind of pointless to say number 85 Porsche because they're all Porsches in this Porsche Cup, and practice has ended. Not many cars left on track here. Only Snyder, Jerick, and Ray Frias. Ray Frias putting a time down for 2:03.3. And only 3 valid times being set in that practice session. Now we start qualifying. Looks like your first driver is out. That is going to be Richie Geralman having the exit first here, but now that's Stefan Lindauer exited directly behind behind Geralman. Let's see what time Richie can do here. Interesting thing that through this Mercedes arena, not a lot of drivers opting to use these curbing. I do know curbing quite upsets this car with it having no traction control, but I would have thought some of those flat curbs would have actually provided a grip here. So yeah, I'm not sure if there's time left in this track by using more of it, or if it's just some, you know, setting a good consistent lap, not spinning up your rear tires a little bit too much, and getting your brakes and tires up to temp. So that's definitely interesting. We have seen a slight variation into Dunlop hairpin there, but again, nothing major. Now we're on the run up through. That would have been Shell or Schumacher S's. These two drivers being fairly close on track still, even though it is qualifying. Curious if Lindauer wants to stay behind Geralman to get his draft off of him to set a better time than Geralman. Geralman in clean air, so that should give him a different style of advantage, give him a little bit more downforce through the curves. As you can see, Lindauer runs a little wide at the second chicane. Ooh, as that gap gets really close there between these two. Geralman having a slight sideways moment out of the final corner, with looking to be only about 0.2 between these drivers here into turn 1. Curious how this will affect either driver's time being this close. Geralman, he's running it a little wide. I'm curious if that'll get him a better exit. It looks like it does. Get the power down earlier and smoothly. I can see why Geralman wants to take a lot of late apexes here just to get the power straight, but without spinning up his rear tires at all. And now we are into Valvoline. That's still a very hard corner. I can see why no one's using the curves, the inside curving in both of those, Valvoline and Ford, but they are very much using the run off out of Ford. Now on the curved run down to Dunlop, looks like Richie tries to V off this hairpin here to get a better exit, which also in the process allows him to brake a little bit later. Richie hugging the first S and then running over a majority of the second curbing there. Should give him a good amount of time. Both drivers staying clear of that little green runoff between RTL and Bit. That still does confuse me. I'll have to give it a run one of these days to see if that actually does upset these Porsche Cups. I could easily see how it does. Sometimes in the skip barbers it even throws you off. Now through the final chicane here. Keep both drivers keeping it nice and clean. Who will be able to set the faster lap between these two drivers? And Geralman comes across the line to set a 2-minute 0.9 with Stefan Lindauer putting a 2-minute 1.52, so it does look like Geralman has set the faster time between those two. However, Josh Willis sets another personal best time of the session here with holding provisional pole of a 158.9, holding all sector fastest, and has gone 2 seconds clear of Richie. That is extremely impressive. It looks like Cody Wassum takes Geralman's second place away by 0.6 of a second. And Matt Morrison goes 5th fastest overall. Jerick Snyder going 4th fastest overall as we're following Cody Wassum here. No one has managed to take away a fastest sector from Josh Willis on the outlap. Usually Josh Willis gets out first to set the fastest lap immediately. Interesting enough, gave Geralman and Lindauer the chance to do that. And that looks like it has paid off quite well for both drivers. Still following Wassum. Wassum's about 0.4 up on his lap here. And Willis is actually red on his delta, which means he's not looking to improve this lap by much. Wassum losing a little bit of time out of Dunlop, but regaining all of it through the Schumacher S's, as you can see Eric up ahead. It looks like Geralman's a second up on his lap here today. And actually looks like Josh Willis is now green by 0.3 on his lap. Green means you are improving, red means you are not improving. As Richie Geralman puts it back on second place, will Cody Wassum be able to close that gap at all as Josh Willis goes quicker again with a 158.8, still holding all sector fastest. Cody Wassum now 0.6 up on his lap. Will he be able to get Richie Geralman's second place back into his grasp? It looks like he will be able to do it as he sets a 159.76, 1.1 second off of Josh Willis. Now Josh Willis holding all sectors personal best. That is a great thing to do here. It's very hard, and that just shows how quick Josh Willis here is in this Porsche Cup car. Now we're heading through the field. I want to highlight someone. Looks like it will be Matt Morrison here, as we see a little bit of grass being spit up from Crow Heavenborn here. Crow Heavenborn has not yet set a valid lap. This is a valid lap from him. Let's see what he will be able to improve, and we'll have I actually just had one car ahead to see if Crow Heavenborn will be able to set a time down. It looks like Ray Freest puts a time down good enough for 9th place with a 203.0. It looks like Crow struggles out of the Schumacher S's. Any time for Crow will be a good time here, as he's yet to set a time. And now looks like Mike Birkoff has put it second on second place here. Haasmaster has followed again. Thank you here. Mike Birkoff has put it 0.7 off of Josh Wilson, taken away his Josh Willis taking away Willis losing the fastest third sector to Mike Birkoff. And I have a feeling these people following, it has a secret message in there. I'm not going to try and decode it for you guys. If you guys in chat want to do it, go ahead. Thank you, Mal Whatabot, for following. And it looks like Crow Heavenborn does set a time down for a 2-minute 1.7. As Crow slides it around turn 2 of Mercedes Arena. That's some major style points there. But yeah, pulls off the lap to reset back to pits. Looks like he will not be able to set another qualifying lap. Birkoff Snyder, Heavenborn, and Orozco will not be able to improve their laps as they're in the pits, and with 2 minutes left, less than 2 minutes left to qualifying, they will not be able to get around this lap in time to set. It looks like Richie Trallman might also be out on his qualifying luck, as it looks like he will not be able to come around this lap, and he's invalid. It's unfortunate to see. We'll head up to let's keep following Stefan Lindauer, however, as it looks like he's 4/10 up on his current lap, which might give him the position over Wassum. He will not be able to set another lap after this one, as there's 5 seconds left of qualifying and has 10 seconds left of the lap to go. Coming around the final corner here now, will Stefan Lindauer be able to take away third place from Cody Wassum? Coming across the line now, does not. He does improve his lap to a 1:59.6. However, a 10th off of Cody Wassum's time, unfortunately. And it looks like Josh Willis has entered the pits, will not be able to improve his lap. That is unfortunate to see. Will, as Wassum entered the pits also, will not be able to improve his lap. Drum and red on his time. Matt Morrison coming across the line. Good enough for 6th here. Nearly a 2-minute flat. Good time there. Provolone now. The only driver left on a valid time here. Jerick invalid. Also, looks like Jerick will come across the line to secure his 11th place. And now we're following the final driver here on track. Keeping it clean, he's already 5/10 up on his lap, which may put him just off the back of Richie Geralaman here. Now heading through the final chicane, keeping it clean. Let's see if he will be able to gain any time, as he looks like he's 7/10 up on his personal best here. That should give him 5th place. Will he be able to secure 5th place? Yes, he does. Provolone securing 5th place away from Richie Geralaman. That's a nice little qualifying there. But the show of your qualifying session has been Josh Willis once again. Josh Willis securing securing pole position again. And there's Josh Willis looking to take another race win here tonight. But Mike Birkoff looking to challenge down into turn 1. Let's get off this bizarro camera. And now your second and final race here tonight will be a 45-minute race. Track is starting to cool down as it's at 4 p.m. and track is now 35 degrees Celsius. In qualifying, it was 36 degrees Celsius. Wind has picked up a little bit, so that might unstable some cars just a bit. Now let's see what we can do down into the start of the race here. Now, your order for this race will be, your first place will be Josh Willis, second place, Birkoff. Your second row here will be Cody Wassum and Stefan Lindauer. Your third row here will be, Provolone and Geralaman. Your fourth row here tonight will be Matt Morrison and, Jerick Snyder. Your 5th row will be Eric and Crow. Your 6th row will be Jerick and Ray Frias. And your 7th row will be Orozco and Chronotis. Looking forward to see how these drivers do this 45-minute endurance race. There's more time to be to capitalize off of others' mistakes and recover from your own. So we'll see how these 14 drivers on the grid here will do tonight. Now we have about a minute and a half left of the final setup times. Track has already dropped a degree from the just couple minutes we've been sitting here, so I expect this track to start dropping even quicker. And now we are under a minute of the session to go. Drivers finishing their setups here, preparing their tires maybe just a little high to prepare for the track degree temp in the following 45-minute race here. Curious how these drivers will set their car up to see exactly how it will be dealt with here tonight as drivers start dropping their car, which means their setup are ready and they are ready to go here tonight. And start hearing some engines being fired with 5 seconds left before we start our formation lap here. And now Josh Willis starts his roll away on the formation lap. Let's head down the back of about to the midfield with Matt Morrison here to see how all of these drivers warm up their tires. We've seen how Josh Willis will, but I'm curious, Matt Morrison, like some of the mid-pack drivers' strategies here tonight. Matt Morrison looking to accelerate quite heavy and then stop on the brakes to get those tires up. As you see Eric struggling with a grip there. As you can see, his tires are quite cold, and it looks like you're going 3 wide into the Mercedes arena there. Cars ghosting in between each other, as this is a perk of online racing. You can ghost in between each other on the formations lap without, absolutely killing a car off into the wall, ending both of your guys' race. You can see on this little service road here to the right that it cuts out the little bottom half of the circuit, even though I find the bottom half of the circuit the most fun. There is a shorter layout if you are interested in racing it. Now it looks like all drivers have kind of accepted the same tactic of, some drivers are swerving. You have about 2 tactics here, swerving or just staying in a straight line, doing the Kimi Räikkönen tactic of, I can get these tires up to temp. Let's just start driving. And now we head up the hill, excuse me. Following Birkoff here, just so we can see both Josh Willis up on the bottom of the screen and your second driver closing off the front row. Josh Willis having a poor start off of race 1, having a poor jump into turn 1, so let's see if he will be able to get a better jump here or still give his opponent on the first row the chance to lock out that position. And now drivers all forming up in a 2x2 formation. All drivers being really close to each other. Crow Heaven Born in that Canada 150 car. Just giving some love taps, so I believe that would have been Ray Frias there. And now it looks like we are starting to back up the grid here. Looks like Josh Willis is falling off of Birkoff just briefly there to get his tires and brakes up to temperature. And now let's Actually, I kind of like that camera for the start of the race. Let's see how Josh Willis will get a good jump down into turn 1. Birkoff quite off the back of Willis, and it looks like Lindauer gets a good start, but so does Provolone. Looks like they're 3 wide in the back with Provolone, Geralman, and Wassum there, all drivers backing out. Close between, that would have been Lindauer and Geralman, but keeping it nice and clean. And your race leader through turn 2 is still Josh Willis. Now, battle behind is still very hot here. As looks like in the background that's Cody Wassum, and there's contact between Geralman and an unknown driver. That might have been Shirk. That's unfortunate. See in the back is Crow Heavenborn making a move down onto Lindauer, doing it around the outside there. Successful overtake. And now we head back up to the field as Mike Birkoff's looking to close that 4/10 second of a gap down into Dunlop. Ooh, and it looks like that might have been Lindauer having a mistake we saw. It's unfortunate to see there. So Lindauer's now down into 14th, having an excellent start of the race there. Crow Heavenborn making his way up to 6th place after the start of the first 2 sectors. Now exiting a bit now on the run up through this little kink in the straight here down into the chicane. Now it looks like Birkoff is a second off of Willis already. But in the background, there's 2 drivers going 2 wide through the chicane. That is Matt Morrison, Eric. Looks like Matt Morrison might have lost the position to Eric up through there. Excellent little battle between these 2. Now we head up to see the field now following Crows. He's looking to close to, Wassum. And excuse me, I'm going to have to leave that battle as it looks like Mike Birkoff starting to close onto Josh Willis here through the exit of the Mercedes Arena. Birkoff using a lot of inside curving, getting the car slightly unstable there, but not enough to lose any time to Willis. Now on the run down to Dunlop. Looks like the gap has closed to 0.3 of a second. Will Mike be able to get a better exit out of the Dunlop hairpin? Gap is extended to 0.5 of a second, but closes through the Schumacher S's. Willis using less curbing there, possibly to keep the car more stable, as there's still that 3-wide battle in the background between Wassum, Crow, and Snyder. No one close enough to make moves out on tracks. It actually looks like I might have missed. It's Lindauer and Eric are going 2 wide through. There's light bumping after RTL into bit, and it looks like Lindauer's up into 11th place after being down into 14th place. Eric flashing not happy with that move. We'll head back up to the lead battle here as it looks like Birkoff is starting to close again onto Josh Willis. It looks like Snyder may have moved up into 4th place in the background. But now we see Josh Willis having a poor exit out of the turn 1, giving Mike Birkoff a better run. Now Birkoff possibly looking to make a move down into here inside, not close enough to actually look. But now we are still being 0.3 of a second. We'll hop on board Mike Birkoff to see his point of view. Josh Willis, both drivers actually using a lot of that inside curving, more than I've really seen here tonight. Willis having a slightly bad exit out of Ford, but still keeping it, actually having a better exit than Birkoff. Birkoff looking to break a little later into Dunlop, but doesn't gain him any yield there. Both drivers keeping it nice and clean into RTL. Panther bit. Ooh, as Willis is actually starting to struggle with some grip there. That's going to give Birkoff the chance to make a possible move up into the chicane here. Let's hop onto an aerial camera. Track temp is fallen down to 33 degrees Celsius. The track started at 34, so this track is definitely falling a little bit. We're about 5 minutes into the race here. Birkoff making a late move down into the final corner to close that gap down to 0.2 of a second. Willis having a better exit, extending that lead there a little bit. On the left-hand side, you can see the roller coaster not moving right now, but there is a roller coaster there down the front stretch, movable aspect of Nurburgring. And it looks like Mike Birkoff has gone and closed the gap basically onto the bumper of Josh Willis. Birkoff braking slightly later, trying to keep that thing right on the tail of Josh Willis. We can see the gap really well between these two here. But let's hop on board. No, that's not what I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted. There we go, that's exactly what I wanted. Got it. Looks like gap has extended to 0.4 of a second after Valvoline. And now both drivers using a lot of the curbing exit. I haven't had many battles with Josh Willis as he's so quick, but I do know Josh is a great driver here in the league, and so is Mike Birkoff. Mike Birkoff having an astounding performance here tonight in the second race here so far, even though we're only about 7 minutes into this race. On the run-up, Birkoff still drafting off of Willis, but not close enough to make a move into this chicane. Both drivers using the flat curbing of that chicane just to extend the track a little bit, but not to lose any time. Looks like Birkoff is slightly falling off of Willis. We'll hop down the field just a little bit to see the battle for fifth place between Wassum and Provolone here. Provolone closed that gap already down to 0.4. Provolone taking a lot of inside curbing as that's Crow around. Crow's lost his 4th place to Wassum. Now this is the battle for 4th place here. Richie Drallman still holding 3rd place. That's unfortunate to see Crow working his way up through the field, up in the 4th place, and spinning around into turn 1. But that is a, something that can happen with these Porsche Cups without traction control. That is one risk of taking the complete insiding of turn 1. But now it looks like Mike Birkoff is closed quite closely to Josh Willis here again. But man, this battle has extended for many laps here. Kept it nice and clean. Yellow flags are now clear of the track. I'm not sure who made a mistake. Possibly Eric. But it does not look like so. It looks like the timing sheet is just messed up. Maybe Chronotus or Ray Frias. I don't know. Have timing sheets acting up here a little bit. Oh, it looks like Lindauer's in the pits. Oh, that's unfortunate to see Lindauer not having good luck this race. Or last, unfortunately. Man, that is, yeah, that's a hard one. And now, after 10 minutes of the race here, Birkoff and Willis are still 4/10 off each other. Excellent little battle here between these drivers. Josh Willis usually pretty conservative with how much track space he uses to keep it within, you know, consistent as is Lindauer exiting the pits behind. Looks like Lindauer just taken his mandatory pit stop. Lindauer is maybe looking to undercut his competition a little bit. That is that's an interesting one, alright. And now the pit stop system here at Trackalicious, with how we run the server is the second race of any race with a mandatory pit stop will be using the honor system, so drivers will be required to make a pit stop, which means their car must be lifted into the air. The car can be either from there be repaired, added fuel, or change tires. There's no requirement on what you do. But if it is found you do not take your required pit stop, the penalty for not taking the pit stop will be quite amplified from what the actual pit stop time is, and it looks like Ray Frias is now in the pits taking his mandatory pit stop. Track temp is consistently falling. Now we're down to 32 degrees C. Drivers may be struggling with that, and it looks like actually Problone's quite close off Cody Wassum. Cody Wassum sliding it through RTL, but not close enough to give Provolone a better exit. Actually, Provolone now quite drafting off of Wassum, possibly close enough to make a move. Wassum running slightly wide through the little kink on the long back straight here. Provolone looking to make a move on the exit here, possibly, maybe around down the inside of Coca-Cola, the final corner. He does look. Wassum gives him the space, but it's not close enough to make the move. But now Provolone's drafting off. There's only a 10th splitting these two drivers. Provolone making the look down the inside, braking earlier than Cody, trying to give let Wassum running around the outside, and that goes Provolone partially around. That gives breathing space to Wassum to chase chase Geralman. It's fortunate to see. Now let's hop on board. Oh, that's a Roscoe around. No, excuse me, that's Chronotis around. As I was about to see the battle between Eric and Chronotis, I'm curious if there was any contact there. I kind of jumped to it just late enough where I wouldn't be able to see any. That would have been a good battle for 10th place, as Eric takes a little bit too much of the inside curving and spins it, but does well to keep it out of the wall. Let's see if Chronotis is still stuck in the final corner. It looks like he must have been in a really bad spot getting that car started up again. Man, that's unfortunate to see there. We'll hop on board, or keep following this lead battle here. Now we're about 15 minutes into the race, as there's another yellow flag on track somewhere. Just briefly. And now it looks like Mike is about 7/10 off Josh Willis. Let's hop on board to see how the lines differ. I'm going to go back to what I was trying to say earlier before there was a good battle. Josh Willis seeming to be conservative on his track limits use, keeps it very within the white lines, while Mike tries to push some of the curbing to get some grip. So I'm curious how that will affect each driver differently. I do know the lines slightly vary between these two drivers, so I'm curious how that may play out into Mike's hands, but maybe that will play into Josh's hands also. I'm not sure. Gap is 0.6 of a second between these drivers here. Both drivers kind of having struggling with power down through the Mercedes arena. Josh taking a lot later of an apex, slides it around, but does well to keep it in a straight line, but so does Mike out of the exit. Looks like Josh's better exit there. That's exactly what I was saying with the varying lines between these two. I found there's no really right way to do the Mercedes arena. As long as it doesn't lose you time over the next driver ahead, you're fine. There is definitely a wrong way to do it. I found it, but neither of these drivers doing that wrong way, keeping it on track to gain some time there. Ray Free is still in the pits, so it looks like he might have had some heavy damage, or he is retiring from the race. I'm not sure. Mike Birkoff using a lot of counter steer through the Schumacher S's. Willis dipping a tire into the gravel trap. Thankfully, that's not spinning him around. Mike Birkoff struggling with the grip more again. Maybe looking to make his mandatory pit stop a little early, as this track is still dropping in temperature. It looks like Eric has started to close to Orozco. Chronotis is in his in pit stop for his mandatory. Provolone, and that is Ray Frias out of the race, unfortunately. Provolone a second and 2/10 off of Cody Wassum. Maybe looking to make a capitalize off of a mistake from Wassum there for 4th place. Now it looks like Josh Willis is starting to pull away from Mike here. Curious if Mike is going to opt for the undercut here over Josh. I don't know how these two drivers usually opted to do their pit stop timing, so I'm curious if one will opt to do an undercut or an overcut. But gap has now fallen to 2nd between these drivers. And now I have touched on this on the preseason test race here, but Josh Willis's car looks to be galvanized steel, but it's actually not. If you look close in, it's a lot of racetracks laid onto this chrome layer, and it looks really, really good. Here at Tracklicious, we have a lot of good livery designers. Josh is included in one of them. So I am excited to see how Josh does this season. Josh obviously winning the first race of the night. After about 17 minutes or so, Josh is still holding the race lead over Mike, but Mike is still both drivers actually have still yet to take their required pit stop. I do not believe Eric has taken his pit stop either, so that might give Chronotis and Lindauer a advantage over that. Birkoff closing the gap through the chicane in the final corner as Willis uses a lot of the inside curbing, and now you can use that curbing. There's almost two aspects of the curbing there. There's, the white and red stuff, which is flat, and you usually can run over. But then there's almost like a sausage curb on the center, trying to point you back onto track, and there should be another one up here I can see. Yes, on the left up here. Actually, no, that's not this version. Oh. Well, there is another one of those inside curbings that kind of pushes you back onto the track or off track, depending on how you take it, to deter you taking any advantages. Josh Willis slides it around through, that would have been Valvoline. So it does look like it gives Mike a little bit of an opportunity to close down, and now we'll head down the field, as it looks like Crow Heavenborn starting to close onto Provolone here. A gap has closed by a good 1.5 seconds from last I checked, I believe. Crow keeping it nice and tight to there. Again, doesn't really matter how you take that corner, as long as it doesn't lose you time, like i.e. not going over grass. Oh no, that's unfortunate. Ray Frias said his game crash. You want me to pull up the stream team you can do or something? Rejoin as spectator? Yep. Ray, if you want to come and commentate, I will be gladly accepting a secondary. If you need a role, I think you're just gonna ping a driver, or ping an admin, excuse me, if you don't have it, or I can move down into another one if you're interested. But yeah, join me here. I'd be 100% willing. It looks like Crow has fallen off of Provolone quite heavily. Looks like to had a major mistake here. Now we have... Oh, it's Snyder. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought I recognized your name as Snyder. We can just be in green room, because I'm not sure I have, drag permissions, unfortunately. I still need to fix that. But it looks like here, the gap between Mike Birkoff and, Willis here has held consistent.
Hey, there we go.
And welcome.
Happy to be. Well, I mean, I'd much rather be racing, but. Let's mute
Yeah,
the
I
stream.
know that feeling. I definitely know that feeling. And it looked like... Nope, Curl has not closed the gap down onto, Provolone at all. Yeah, it's a good opportunity to get a driver and to see how hard this car is to drive here around Nurburgring. Do you think this car is hard to get right around this track?
For me, especially, my throttle control is quite atrocious. I came from the Mercedes GT3 AMG. The traction control in that guy pretty much does all the throttle control for you. The Cup car not having any traction control is a bit of a challenge, to say the least.
Yeah, and I found the Cup car also to be a challenge, as I was a Aston Martin V8 GT3 driver and GT4. And if you do the right setup to that Aston Martin, you basically don't have to throttle control. It's just basically binary. Can you put it down quick enough against your components? So yeah, I personally struggle with the Cup quite often. That's why I'm commentating this series here.
I'm in the Aston Martin this season for GT3, and I think I've got the TC dialed in. I can pretty much do the same thing, just bump my foot down. So I had probably about 15 minutes of practice one, all of qualifying, kind of get a bearing on this car, because I didn't do any preliminary practice.
But yeah, even though you don't have to do too much preliminary practice for this series, as we do run along the GT3 series, as we follow the same calendar, whereas it looks like Provolone and Heavenborn are both in the pits. But yeah, since we follow the same calendar, there's not much, you don't have to learn two different tracks, which is definitely something nice.
Yeah, this was just my first race in the Cup car.
That's right, you have not joined us for any of the preseason tests. At least I don't remember.
No, I didn't. I was busy schedule.
And yeah, Mike Birkoff is starting to fall off the back of Josh just a little bit. It's unfortunate to see now down to 4 seconds. Mike possibly looking to undercut. Josh, what do you predict? Who's going to pit earlier, Mike or Josh?
Good, Josh. I would imagine Mike, seeing as he's following, will probably wait until the last moment when Josh goes to pit. From what I've seen, that's usually the strat.
Actually, is that Mike into the pits right now? Does that mean Josh is in the pits? No, Josh enters the pits. Mike enters the pits with 20 minutes left of the race. Well, that obviously just answered who would earlier take the pit earlier, but how will that affect the race? Only time will tell. So it looks like Wassum now gets third place from Birkoff, as Birkoff's in the pits. Head down the field to Santiago Orozco is 2 seconds off of Crow Heavenborn. That front end of his Porsche looking quite damaged.
Crow did just come out of the pit, so he's probably on cold tires, but still doing pretty well, it looks like.
And actually, we can see Matt Morrison behind, closing on Orozco there. Oh, you should... yeah, you probably can't really see what I'm saying, can you? There you go. Now you can. Sorry.
Oh, I've just been. I joined the server as a spectator. I'm just tabbing along.
Ah, okay. Oh, it looks like Orozco used a little bit too much at the inside curving, which gave Morrison the position. Let's hop on board Orozco. Orozco, please. Thank you. There we go. To see how if Orozco can close that gap to Morrison at all. And it looks like Birkoff has exited the pits in 5th place, has 40 seconds to the leader of Josh Willis. But I believe Jerick, Wassum, and Richie still have to pit. I know Will still has to. Do you find tire wear to be a issue with these cars, or what?
I couldn't tell you. I haven't driven one for more than 15 minutes at a time, and I was kind of interested to see how that turned out. I was concerned about it. I did turn up my ABS a little more than I would otherwise have it, just to try to keep the wheels from locking and cause additional unnecessary wear. They seem to have about the same temperature and pressure sweet spot as the GT3 cars, so I imagine they're pretty similar.
And thank you, Marina Mar, for subscribing.
Thank you.
And it looks like that is actually on our YouTube channel, I think. I really don't know, 'cause it's giving a different icon. It's interesting. And now we are following Birkoff here.
Josh went a little wide there in the back stretch, got into the marbles.
Eee, that's an interesting thing. That's might give Geralman the close, as Eric is now in the pits. Let's hop on board Mike again to see. Mike is about 3 seconds off the back of Jerry. See if he can close on Jerick at all. Birkoff closes the gap to its by a second to Josh just in that lap there, so it looks like Birkoff might be using his tires a little bit more than Willis.
Mike was saying pre-race he was a little sleepy, had a lot of beer and a lot of ribs today. So we'll see if he can keep himself awake for the next 16 minutes.
Yeah, still about 3 seconds off of Jerick is actually entering the pits. So that is Jerick's required pit stop. Eric rejoins back down into 9th place. And now Mike has 25 seconds to gain on Wassum ahead, but still 41 seconds off the leader. Both drivers putting in fairly consistent lap times. Right now, the session best time goes to Josh, but only by a 1/10 of a second. And actually, Crow has the second best session time, so that's yeah, that's interesting there.
Ooh, looks like Eric goes wide into the back corner. My
Yes, he
apologies,
does.
I don't know
Like,
any of these corner names.
that would have been Dunlop there. Looks like he let through a lapped car. Cannot tell if that is that. Looks like that might be Wassum. Yeah, that is Wassum. Let's follow Wassum. We haven't given much airtime here tonight. There we go. Wassum, 9 seconds. Excuse me, 16 seconds off of the race leader here. Except the race leader here now goes into the pits. for his required pit stop. And so does Richie. Richie follows.
Alright, Jerry coming out of the pits, followed closely by Orozco. Let's see if they can hold a battle.
Looks like that is the. Are they on the same lap, or is my camera just being weird?
For me, it shows they're on the same lap. Ooh,
That's interesting. And,
Santiago getting a little tail happy there.
and now, your race leader is Cody Wassum with about a. If I can get a timing sheet update here, does not want to do that for me. It looks like maybe about. Looks like 8 seconds off, or clear of Mike Birkoff. But it still shows a. Wait.
Josh is in second. 17 seconds back from Cody.
Yeah, my timing sheet's not being that smart. But yeah, that would be about 17 seconds off. Yeah, that's... Willis only lost 1 place there. Not too much work to regain his lead. Meanwhile, Birkoff is 24 seconds off of the race leader, but closed by a considerable margin, actually, just in that pit stop there. Let's see if I can do some quick math. Hey, he closed that to his, yeah, there's only about 7-second difference between these two drivers now. There was 41 seconds of difference. Wow, that is interesting. That has played into Mike's hands a lot there. But, yeah, so not much work left for Mike to catch up onto Josh. Looks like, nope, Eric has passed Orozco as Orozco has entered the pits. Oh, as Eric puts it into the tire barrier, sliding it out of turn 1. That's a hard corner on this track. Have you personally struggled with that turn 1 there, Jerick?
Turn 1, yeah, several times. First gear, second gear, doesn't seem to matter. That back end just really wants to go.
And it looks like a Spool says, my money is on Mike. That is a interesting little favoritism from the crowd there. Lop following Mike again. There's no really battle on track to my knowledge.
Yeah, I keep tabbing around looking for one. Oh, actually, P10 and 11. Lindauer is coming up on Santiago.
Oh, yes it is. There we go. Good spot. So we're following Stefan Lindauer looking to make a move up into 10th place, down into Dunlop, I believe. Yep, down onto Dunlop. Santiago running a little bit wider, giving Lindauer the chance to close that gap a little bit, but not close enough to make it too wide down into the S's.
Looks like Lindauer played it safe, broke a little early, trying to count on Santiago making a mistake.
And will Lindauer be able to get the power down earlier? Yes, he will be. It is a drag race down onto the chicane as we're on board Lindauer. Gives Orozco plenty of space, but I believe makes that position done. No, they're still side by side entering the chicane here.
Oh man.
Is that Mike? That's Mike up behind these two. Orozco looking to make it down into the final corner there. Are we gonna see
Mike
it pretty
not
wide?
happy.
Oh,
He's flashing his brights.
as Orozco makes a large mistake there, gives Mike the opportunity to run up through. Wassum's now in the pits, which gives Willis the lead at the race back. Orozco takes an off-roading adventure over the turn 1 chicane. I've done that many times, not in the Porsche Cup, but any other car. So these drivers here get really close between each other. This battle's still happening back. Looks like Orozco's looking to switch back on Lindauer, but makes a mistake and puts it into the wall. Respins back out across the track into the other wall. Oh man, it's unfortunate to see there.
At least well done by Santiago not rejoining immediately, caused another accident.
Yes, that was a good good gaps for him to spin across the track, and also good yeah, you know, good skill to not rejoin to any other's way. Lindauer secures that 10th place there for last 10 minutes of the race here, possibly. Mike Birkoff is back up into 2nd place, but now we're following Josh coming around, should be bit curve, I believe. As you can see, Eric behind them. Who is Josh using a little bit more of that inside pointed curbing in the chicane, more than I would probably use. Actually, it looks like Wassum might be close on Richie.
1.8 seconds back. It seems like Cody's closing the gap. Oh, maybe not. It just keeps fluctuating.
It's saying about
Ooh.
even to my knowledge.
Richie's running 159.8 still. He's probably making good pace to keep up.
Yeah, and it looks like Mike might be falling off the back of Josh, as Josh set a 2-minute near flat with a 2-minute 0.3, while Mike sets 2:01.1. Yeah, that might give Josh enough breathing room with the last 7.5 minutes of the race to secure his 2nd race win here tonight. But we're still on board with Wassum here, looking to see how... See the real gap between Jerrick and Wassum here. So it actually looks like Jerrick's gonna have to...
Ooh,
navigate.
and
Ooh,
Lindauer makes
that's...
a mistake.
And that's
He's off into the
Lindauer's.
gravel.
That's unfortunate. Rejoins well. Not one really ahead or behind to worry about. As we are still making our way through the field here, looks like closest battle is still Wassum on Richie Jerrick. This is Wassum's first valid lap after his pit stop, so let's see if he's able to close that gap at all to Richie. Looks like he might have, Richie might have extended that gap to 3 seconds.
Cody goes wide into T1.
He very does, with just under 6 minutes left of the race. Josh Willis has pulled the gap to about 9 seconds there. Richie Jerrick setting another 159.9. Cody Wassum setting a 2:01.2. So yes, has definitely fallen off the back of Richie just a little bit. Josh still setting 2-minute near flats. And Mike's still setting 2:01, so that gap looks fairly consistent to put Willis lead over here, but it looks like Cody now has some lapped cars to navigate. That should be Jerick up ahead. Jerick usually does well to get out of lead lapped cars way, so should not be an issue for Cody here.
Looks like Cody will have the advantage of passing on the big old straight. Nice, easy
Yes,
place
he
to let
will.
him by.
Actually, looks like Jerick doesn't let him through there. Maybe on the front stretch he'll be let through.
Eric says he's not close enough to me yet.
Not many battles around here. Crow Heavenborn recovering back up to 6th place after his spin. And now you can see Jerick letting Cody Wassum through with no issue. Ooh, as you can see, something happened with Jerick. Oh, Jerick's around in turn 2. Oh, that's unfortunate to see. Oh, Lindauer. That's actually the battle right here for 9th place, as Lindauer is looking to capitalize off of that mistake. Lindauer trying to make a send it up the inside out of the Mercedes arena, but not close enough to do it. Now, Jerick defending into Valvoline. Ooh. These lines are differing quite barely.
Yeah, Lindauer's really looking for a way around. He's getting upset, flashing his brights.
Hopping on the
Jerick says,
inside,
no,
Lindauer outbraking.
Gonna fight you for this one.
Ooh, looks like Jerick swiped off of Lindauer's nose just a little bit, but Lindauer doing well to avoid it. Good battle between these two. That's Lindauer's position entering RTL here. It's 90, hard 90 right.
I just gotta say, these are some really nice looking cars.
Yeah, I do love some of these liveries that Trackalicious Sim Racing here produces for their leagues. The 2 minutes left of the race, nothing much happening, but if you're at all interested in joining us here at Trackalicious, in our Twitch, there should be links to our Discord there, or the series standings if you're interested. Join us there, and we will be glad to help you out if you need help with anything. If you're out following this on your YouTube, I think there should be a Twitch link in our bio. If not, Trackalicious on Twitch.
Definitely check us out tomorrow. We'll be streaming at about the same time with our GT3 series. We've got scheduled, I think, what, 46, 47 drivers on track tomorrow?
Wow, that's going to be a big grid. That's going to provide a lot of action, a lot of non-stop action. And I believe there will be 2 races there. I believe it's going to be a, quote me if I'm wrong here, but a 30-minute and a 60-minute race?
I want to say the second race is... I'm not sure. Let me see if I can pull up the calendar.
Maybe that's the season 1, because I do remember we might have switched it. Yeah, I really can't remember now, but that would be good to see here tomorrow. Unfortunately, I have given up the GT3 commentary position. That will be your GT4 commentator, Alvarez. Why couldn't I think of his name? And we will be starting, or that stream will be starting about half an hour earlier than this stream, as we pushed the start time of that race 30 minutes forward.
That's
just as it
right,
is a
we
Sunday.
did.
And you hear leaders on the final lap, which means Josh Willis here has held a 6.5 second gap over Mike Birkoff here. Over a 45-minute race here. This will be your final lap.
All right, you were correct.
I believe.
GT3 Championship is a 30-minute and a 60-minute race.
Oh, did we extend the endurances to 100 minutes then for the GT3?
We did. Yep.
That's what we did. I know we did something.
Trev, are you racing in GT3 tomorrow?
Unfortunately not. I might show up for the sprint just for fun, but unfortunately I don't think I'm going to be racing it. I will have another league race earlier.
Shame.
It is. The GT funds, or GT funds. GT3s are really fun things to watch race. And they are also fun. And regarding GT3s, we also do have some endurances coming up here. I don't remember the dates off the top of my head, but I do know the tracks being featured are Laguna Seca for 4 hours, Bathurst for 4 hours.
For 4 hours, and Silverstone for 8 hours.
There we go. So interested
looks like
join us there also.
Our endurances will be October 9th. It's a Saturday. November 13th, also a Saturday. And December 11th will be our 3 endurance races.
So,
I believe those are going to be a mixed grid.
Yes, I believe those are GT3 and GT4. And now, Josh Willis comes across the line to secure his second race win here. He has swept Nurburgring. Will he be able to do it tomorrow? Tune in to find out. Mike Birkoff coming across second place. Great battle between those two. Unfortunately, not close enough to secure second place. As you can see, Richie narrowly avoiding that third
Doing
place
a flyby
of Josh. Cody Wassum coming across the line now here for fourth place. As you can see, Provolone coming around the final corner here in his beautiful Michelin car, even though I don't believe these cars use Michelin tires. Coming across the line for fourth place.
It's a sim.
Pro sliding across through the final chicane there to get some style points for his... Oh, it's actually he collides with the the pit lane barrier there.
I popped in on Crow earlier this lap, and he was having a lot of issues with his tires, I think.
See Matt Morrison coming around the final corner now. We missed Lindauer, Eric, Orozco, and Kronotos coming across the line. It's unfortunate to see there, but those guys have came across the line here. Matt Morrison coming across the line to secure his 7th place. As we follow Jerick coming across the final corner.
Duff year.
And now, let's see if we can pull in your top 3. If I remember everyone's username. Josh.
I believe the top 3's usernames, at least their things should be reflective. There's Josh.
Oh.
Oh, you're already in? Okay, awesome. Hey, Josh. Great race win there. Held the race win over the whole... Race lead the whole time over Mike Birkoff, except when you had to do the pit stop.
Yeah, that was it was honestly a little bit of a challenge. He was close to me in the beginning, putting a lot of pressure on me. So I just tried to defend without overheating my tires. Just put a lot of effort into just being chill. And then I could tell he started losing some pace. So then I started trying to walk away a little bit so I could gain a gap for the pit. Then I kind of overheated the tires just a little. So from there, I was just kind of, at that point, just maintaining. And then glad that I had a food pit. And,
speaking of tires,
nice.
How was the management in the Cup car versus the GT3 car?
I mean, you're just managing the tire spin. That's mostly what you're managing. And then a little bit of the braking because the Porsche likes to lock up kind of early. So like when Mike's attacking me, I just make sure I'm smooth on the throttle. I'm not trying to force the car to do anything crazy, and just position the car. That's all. That's all you gotta do.
All you gotta
And
do.
yeah, it looks.
Just
All you gotta
Yeah.
do. And have a good right foot. I don't know. That's kind of necessary.
Yeah, and with that, if you're free to go, looking forward to see you at the next race.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
And now we are interviewing your second place here tonight. Mike Birkoff had to challenge to get that race win. Unfortunately, wasn't able to pull it off, but has some good battles with
Yeah, with Josh there. But
Josh.
yeah, hey, I was just happy to be able to stick with him for that long. I was really focused. I made a few mistakes in the middle of the race there, and once you lose like the rhythm it takes to drive this thing because the no traction control, I fell off by a second or two, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna pit and just see what happens after that. But I was happy to stay with it for as long as I could. But so it was a good race.
Yeah, it was an excellent race to watch. Secured your second place here. And are you looking forward to the next race, which is at?
I'll get it back up here real quick.
I think it's to be Suzuka.
Yes.
Oh, that would be
Yeah.
a fun one to watch.
Yeah, Suzuka's a good track. I enjoy that track too. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. And the Cup car is super fun there, for sure.
And yeah, did you find managing the Cup car without traction control easy?
No, I mean that's really the whole thing with this car. I mean, I'm sure everybody else will say the same thing. It's similar to a GT3 in speed, and it doesn't have much downforce, so it struggles a little bit in the high-speed corners. But otherwise, it's very similar. So, not having that traction control is pretty much everything. And every track has a few corners where you have to master that. Just whether it's being soft with the gas, or a lot of times what I do is just short shift, just to so that's just doesn't have too much power coming out of the corner.
A good strategy, shifting early.
Yeah, that seems to work pretty well in certain corners. But it takes a lot of concentration, unlike the GT3, where oftentimes you can just manage the throttle out of there. But it's a super fun car. I like this car to drive.
It's fun race to watch here. And yeah, if you've got nothing else to add, there you go.
Yep. No, thanks, guys.
And your third place finisher here tonight is Richie Rahman. Richie holding a nice consistent third place here. Not close enough to challenge Mike for his second place, but had enough pace to clear Wassum.
Yeah. He early on in the race, they pulled a big gap ahead of me, and I pulled a big gap to the car in fourth. And we went in for the pit. It was smooth sailing from there. When Wass came out of the pit, he was about a second behind, but I was able to pull about a 4-second gap by the end of the race, and I wasn't too worried about it, so long as I didn't make any mistakes. But
Did pretty good. I think I helped you out there in the beginning. I had a nice early start, got my way up. I think I was in fourth. And so I just kind of slowed him down as fifth and sixth came on by.
Yes, indeed. No, I got a pretty lucky first couple corners there, but it worked out. I can't complain with 2 third place finishes for the night. So
Yeah, very consistent. And Richie, are you looking forward to a Suzuka next week?
I love Suzuka. It's one of my favorite tracks. So we're gonna have to get some practice in this week and hopefully get another top 3 finish.
All right, well, looking forward to that.
Yeah, it should be a good time.
Yeah, and if you got nothing else to add, you're free to go here.
All right, thanks, man.
And just before me and Jerick sign off here tonight, thank you guys for watching. If you're interested in joining us here at Trackalicious on our Twitch account, there should be links in our bio, and there should also be links beneath our YouTube channel if you're watching this stream uploaded on YouTube. And with that, thank you guys for producing a great race. Thank you guys for watching the stream and supporting us there, and I hope you all have a good one. This is from me and Jerick. See ya!
See ya. Thanks.